People who speak multiple languages, have you had any funny incidents where someone didn't expect you to understand their language? I'm American, but I speak a little Russian. A few years ago I was in St. Petersburg and decided to take tickets for a motorboat to Peterhof. All the signs at the kiosk were in Russian, so I had no problem studying all the prices. However, it was obvious to me that I was not a local, so the cunning saleswoman decided to sell me tickets 3 times more expensive. In response to this insolence, I looked her straight in the eye and objected in clear Russian, but it is clearly written on the sign that one ticket costs X. You should have seen her reaction. Her jaw almost dropped. Her colleague was sitting next to her and was laughing at the top of her voice. As far as I know, this is a fairly common story in Russia. One price for locals, another for tourists. I'm walking with a German friend in Italy and I warn him in German. Brother, you would not throw shit at people like that. If anyone here understands us. A woman walks next to us and adds, yeah, like me. Lol. We had this Chinese diner near campus where everyone spoke Chinese. Even though I know Chinese too, I always spoke to them in English because I'm a bit shy about my accent. So, I usually get rice and meat from them, but this time I already had rice ready at home, so I decided to go in purely for the meat. I went in, ordered without rice, gave my money. Then I hear the cashier yelling in Chinese to the kitchen staff, "This fat asshole will only serve meat, no rice." I heard it very clearly and decided to add in Chinese, "That's right, I have plenty of rice at home." Since then, they always give me extra. By the way, they didn't charge me a penny for that order. My friend and I were trying to get home after a binge, but it was a long drive and we didn't have much money. So we found 2 other women who also needed to go the same way and offered to take a cab for all of them. They agreed, we called a cab, drove. Suddenly they start speaking Swedish, not knowing that my friend is half Finnish and half Swedish. I could understand Swedish, too, but I was so drunk at the time that I didn't care about anything. Suddenly I get a text from my friend. They're not going to pay for the cab. I said, maybe we should tell the driver. My friend turns to the driver and says, until these 2 people give me half, you don't let them out. He took the hint, locked all the doors, and they had to pay after all. I lived in South Korea for 3 years, but I hardly learned Korean. But during that time, I met an English-speaking Korean woman who was considered not a local because she was very tall and spoke with a strong American accent, which she had acquired during her studies in the United States and New Zealand. So, when she went to an international university in South Korea, her teachers thought she did not speak Korean, so they often insulted her in front of her. She was very uncomfortable, but she didn't let it get to her and tolerated it for a year, until it was time for graduation. At graduation, she went on stage in front of 800 people and gave her speech in perfect Korean, in which she casually reminded her teachers of how they called her a foreign pig. According to witnesses, one of the female teachers sobbed with shame on the spot. I wish I'd had a chance to see it. When I got a job at a McDuck when I was 16, I found a Spanish-speaking crew where no one suspected that I was also pretty good at Spanish. Sometimes these guys would make very rude remarks about me in Spanish, but I pretended not to understand them. This went on until, after a few weeks of work, a manager came up to me and told me that he was valued more than me because he spoke 2 languages. To which I immediately told him in Spanish, cool, but I know 3. The dude just lost it when he realized I'd been listening to their conversations the whole time. I'm half Peruvian, half Swiss, but I live in Peru. You can never tell from my appearance that there is something Swiss about me. One time I was on the bus and I heard 2 Swiss women sitting behind me talking about the attractiveness of Latinos. Suddenly, one of them asks if her friend thinks I'm handsome. Without waiting for an answer, I turn sharply toward them and say, yes, I'm curious too. It was so funny. The expressions on their faces were priceless. Everything was there, shame and confusion. But now I have 2 new friends. Edit, they spoke Swiss German. Modified 2, they later confessed that they both found me attractive. I'm an American expat in Thailand, and I have a big beard that attracts a lot of attention. Locals, unaware that I understand them, sometimes like to shout in my direction, look, a monkey. Monkey, do you want a banana? Or some other nasty thing. I usually just ignore it since I don't want to chat with them, but there was one occasion when I couldn't stand it. Anyway, 2 young girls followed me and just pestered me with comments about a monkey, all running around, yelling, pissing me off. I stopped, looked right at them and said in plain Thai, there are no blue-eyed monkeys. They have black eyes, like yours. Their speech was lost in a second. While I was in Germany, an English teacher I know invited me to come to school for one of her classes. She introduced me to the students, and I said hello, that I was from the United States, and that I was happy to be in her class. Next, my friend said, guys, you can ask him questions in English. What do you think Americans are like? Some kid at the front of the class decided to make a joke in German. Fat and stupid. He wanted to do it quietly, but it was so that everyone could hear it. The teacher blushes. The students are laughing. I don't know what to do and quickly switch to German. You're right. Also, a lot of Americans speak German. The kid there almost shits his pants. In that second he was like a little deer that accidentally wandered onto the stage during a Beyonce concert. He really thought there was no way Americans could understand German. And if you liked the video and you want to see such videos more often, put a like and write in the comments on what topic to make a video next time. Bye bye.